Hey, what's going on out there? This is Dr. Jason, board certified in naturopathic medicine. And I want to talk to you today about alcohol and why it may be killing you in many, many ways. Actually killing you physiologically, also can kill muscle gains. It can kill, fat loss goals. It's a killer. We got to be careful with it. Alcohol is such a, American kind of staple as far as our culture goes, but it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. Am I going to say never take a drink the rest of your life, ever, ever, never? No. I will tell you that it is extremely toxic, and the studies that find benefits from alcohol really are not from the alcohol, by the way. They're from the plant chemicals in the alcohol, okay? Like your dark beers and things like that. It's not the alcohol that has an effect on that blood pressure, come they find out with better designed studies later on. It's actually the phytochemicals in like dark beer, like a Guinness, that have an antioxidant effect. Wine has resveratrol and other amazing plant compounds. Again, you don't need the alcohol per se, but those plant compounds have a huge anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-hypertensive property in them. So it's those other plant chemicals because we're naturally fermenting and these foodstuffs, so they're gonna have a lot of cool stuff in them. Kind of like kombucha, right? Kombucha has some benefits. I wouldn't say it's a healthy elixir like it's amazing, but there's some benefits there. Why? Because it's culture. That's why sauerkraut, kimchi, culturing. That's why we get so much benefit. Culturing creates what's called postbiotics. You probably heard of prebiotic, which is like a fiber that the microbes secrete or they consume. The actual probiotic is the microorganisms themselves, and a postbiotic is what they make. And after they ferment that food or break that food down, and then most wine or most spirits is fermented, right? So you get postbiotics in there. And again, all these other phytochemicals that are so good for us. So that's the benefit of alcohol. What does it actually do though? That kind of buzz feeling that you feel, you're like, oh, this feels great. Yeah, I can kick back, and I'm not gonna lie, that can feel good. And I've been there myself. You know what that is though? Is actually sugar being restricted from your brain. What's actually happening? Your alcohol is going to your liver, being processed there. The alcohol is shutting off the glucose processing of, the rest of your meals or gluconeogenesis, what have you. The way your liver makes energy, because that's your major metabolic organ, that's how we make energy. It's going to be shutting down the glucose production. And that's why your brain gets all whacked out and you start getting all loopy. That's your brain literally drunk, but not necessarily from the alcohol chemical. It's from the lack of glucose. Your brain is struggling to focus. And that's why cognition gets really, really difficult. Thinking, recall, motor skills, on and on and on. We get into that buzz state. Now, eventually, alcohol does become a major CNS or central nervous system depressant. And obviously that's where the poisoning comes in. We can actually obviously, get to lethal levels. But I'm just talking about if we're doing, the 3 to 4 to 5 drinks every so often, be careful with that, okay? On occasion, okay, kind of just like eating a bunch of cake or ice cream or donut or anything else. Let's eat those foods on occasion. Let's drink on occasion. Let's say a birthday party, Super Bowl party, Christmas, stuff like that. Let's save that for a great occasion. We don't need to be doing that weekly and certainly not nightly, guys, okay? But drinking is just this huge thing that it seems to be so accepted in our society. Whereas, for example, I'm not saying it's great either, but like cannabis has been vilified forever. It's starting to back up a little bit with that, but still, people that drink sometimes 3-4 times a night, people don't even bat an eyelid, but if they find out, you smoke a joint or something, they're like, what? You criminal. I'm like, wait a minute. Alcohol is way more toxic than cannabis. I'm not saying cannabis is like, go knock yourself out. Alcohol is way more toxic. Way more alcohol-related deaths and crashes and diseases and abuse happens at the hands of alcohol than any other substance on the planet, probably combined compared to street drugs, heroin, crack, everything. So let's be careful about the alcohol, okay? Let's just rethink that a little bit. And there are a lot of other things you can do to relax, right? There are what are called nootropics. There's adaptogens. There's all kinds of cool, I think it's kava, that has a kind of a cool effect on the brain. Try kava. Just really experiment with some other substances. And again, if I had to pick one, yes, I'd rather you do some cannabis, honestly. I'd rather you take cannabis if you need some kind of, actual substance to chill you down, okay? I'd like to talk about that more and how to do that without a substance. That'd be ideal, but I'd rather you not drink. That's how toxic drinking is. And it does raise your risk of cancer. And I think some early studies showed that it may help with cancer, but again, after better design studies were completed, they found it wasn't the alcohol that reduced the cancer, it was the phytochemicals. Now they're saying even a drink a week raises risk of cancer. And you know what the number one cancer is that's associated with alcohol consumption is breast cancer. And we have epidemic levels of breast cancer. It's one of those most preventable cancers out there. So let's give that some more thought. Okay, hopefully this was helpful. Let's watch those drinks there and be well. All right, take care. Bye-bye.